Wendy and Jaciel.
All right, thanks, Rick. And as always, we have reporters camped out all over the area this morning. So let's start first in Berks County. We're going to head down to WFMZ's Karin Mallet, standing by live in downtown Reading. Karin.
Good morning, Wendy and Jaciel. You know, I'm not sure what Punxsutawney Phil was talking about when he said that spring was around the corner. Certainly feels like winter out here today. We want to give you an idea of what it is doing down here in Berks. You heard Matt mention that it is a wintry mix, and this certainly feels different than just a snow. You can actually feel it. You can feel it on the jacket, and we are going to try to give you an idea of what it sounds like. So it's hard, it's sleet, a little bit of that freezing rain that he was talking about. Now this, of course, is a little bit harder to move off your car in the morning than just snow. So you're going to want to make sure that you take a lot of extra time. We're just starting to see some signs of life here in Reading. Of course, we're on Penn Street right outside our studios in downtown Reading. When we drove in this morning, there were very few cars out on the roads. We saw an awful lot of plows out there from PennDOT and some private plows, but not a lot of other cars. You see the buses here in the city of Reading are running, so there is some life here in the city. But of course, if you don't have to go out today, that's probably a good idea. Let's get another shot of what the roads look like for you. Because you can see they have been plowed through the night. But this was really hard to get off the roads. And from what we're hearing from PennDOT, they do have their full fleet out, but that this is a really difficult storm for them to get a handle on because it hasn't been just snow. And when they have to deal with sleet, and it's been constant here in Berks County since this storm started, it's been really hard for them to fight. So they've had to constantly go at it. And they have, of course, put the salt down, but they can't just plow the roads because they don't want it to turn into a sheet of ice out here either. So they've really had to tackle this in a different way than other storms that we've been dealing with. We'll have more from PennDOT for you and some information on the buses, and especially if you're heading to New York or westbound in Harrisburg when we see you again. Wendy and Jaciel, back to you.
Thanks so much, Karin. Stay warm.
All right, it's time now to check in with Mike Lowe. He is live in Easton along Northampton Street with a look at the conditions there. Mike, what are you seeing?
Well, good morning, Jaciel. What we're seeing here is a lashing of freezing rain and sleet here on Northampton Street. The roads, as to be expected at this hour, are fairly quiet now, but again, they are slick, as we've made mention over and over again today. It could be a treacherous commute here today. Not so much in the way of accumulated snow. We've measured in places only a little bit more than an inch, but as we've said before, what really makes it treacherous is that coating of ice that is now collected here on the street. Now, here in Easton, we have seen this morning several times the Public Works crew go up and down Northampton Street with the plow. But again, the commute this morning is expected to be dangerous, treacherous. Use your word, the roads are slick out here. And we will obviously keep an eye on that for you today. But right now, obviously, the road's quiet here in Easton. The rain, freezing rain, the sleet is coming down pretty hard, pretty heavily. So, again, prepare yourself for a rough commute this morning. We'll certainly keep you updated here in Easton as the conditions change. Back to you.
Okay, thank you very much, Mike. And let's go now to MacArthur Road in Whitehall in Lehigh County, where Jaccii Farris is standing by.
Good morning, Jaciel and Wendy. Well, Karin had mentioned the groundhog. It's kind of like Groundhog Day today because you're going to be hearing a lot of the same thing over and over as far as travel conditions go. Today is not the day to go anywhere. Today's the day to sit in front of your television and watch reporters like myself, Karin, and Mike check out the road conditions. And let's do that right now. You can see we're on MacArthur Road here, and it's snow-packed, and you can see that there are hardly any cars. We have a police car going by right now. But this has been what it's been like all morning long. There have been very few travelers. The road is snow-packed and icy in spots where the snow has worn away. Again, the PennDOT crews have been through, but they can't go all the way down and get rid of everything because that will leave a sheet of ice for drivers. Now, as far as the conditions for people that are walking, and yes, believe it, I have seen a couple of people actually walking down MacArthur Road. It's really windy and very cold, and we have what feels like sleet. I don't know the difference between sleet and freezing rain, but let me tell you something. It's like little frozen peas bouncing off your head. It's certainly not something you want to experience. So if you have to go somewhere, I would wait a little bit before you get out here because, again, the roads are really bad. This is the only storm we've had this year, and let me tell you, it's a doozy. Back to you guys.
Right, thanks, Jackie. I know you're right there in an intersection. Have you seen cars having any trouble stopping there at that light?
Well, fortunately enough, this light has been very generous to drivers, and what few drivers there have been, they've been getting the greens.
That's always good.
Very nice. All right, we'll check back with you soon. Thanks, Jackie.
All right, let's check on now with Matt Broderick. He's in our storm center with the latest. Matt?
All right, guys, thanks very much. Yeah, Jackie mentioning the difference between sleet and freezing rain. Sleet are the actual ice pellets that come down in the form of those little pellets. They ding off your windshield. Freezing rain actually falls as liquid, but the surface temperatures are well below zero, and it freezes on contact. That is the worst kind of winter precipitation, by far the toughest to drive on. So sleet, while it is bad, is not as bad as freezing rain. Just keep that difference in mind. The sleet are those little tiny ice pellets that fall. And that's what most of us are currently seeing. While there is a little bit of freezing rain in spots and even snow to the north, a lot of us are seeing just that sleet as we speak. It is 10 in Stroudsburg, 16 in Reading, and 15 in the Lehigh Valley. A little bit milder, but we're still seeing freezing rain for Philadelphia. They have not changed over to plain rain yet. They have a flood watch and an ice storm warning for Bucks, Montgomery, Hunterdon, and further south toward Philadelphia. So it is a rough go of it. We'll have more in the forecast in just a few more minutes. Now we're going to send things up to Rachel Frank, and she has more on winter storm warnings and watches and the latest snow totals as well. Hey, Rachel.
Good morning, Matt. Thanks so much. What a way to spend your Valentine's Day, huh? We're going to get to all of the warnings and watches in effect in just a minute and even talk about what they mean for you. But first, we have been constantly monitoring our emails and checking snow totals at this point. And keep in mind, it's not just snow, but ice that's accumulating on your driveway. So far, we've seen anywhere from about 1 to 4 inches of snow and ice accumulate in the Lehigh Valley. Berks County seeing a little bit more. So far, those places that have seen more sleet get lesser amounts of accumulation. So you'll notice in our southeastern portion of the viewing area, say Philadelphia and also Trenton, you can see anywhere from 1 to 3 inches. Same for Lancaster, but Reading further west seeing a little bit less mixing at anywhere from 2 to 5 inches. And up north in the Poconos, really not seeing too much sleet mix in yet. We could see a little bit later, but so far we've had reports anywhere from 4 to 8 inches of snow. So far, those warnings, we have a winter storm warning in effect expiring for most places around noon today for Berks, Lehigh, Northampton, Carbon, Monroe, Schuylkill, and Warren counties, and an ice storm for the southeastern portion of our viewing area. That's the freezing rain that Matt was just talking about. They have a better chance of seeing it again as you head further to the south, closer to where that warmer air is kind of punching in to the upper levels of the atmosphere. Bucks, Camden, Chester, Delaware, Montgomery, and our several New Jersey counties as well, Gloucester, Hunterdon, and Mercer counties. Now, we do get emails asking us, what is a winter storm warning? What is an ice storm warning? What do they mean? So we're going to break it down all for you right now. Winter storm warning is usually issued for a combination of different types of weather precipitation. Not only are we going to see snow here as we move through the morning hours, but also a mixture of sleet and even some freezing rain is possible. In the Lehigh Valley, we are mainly going to see sleet today, but again, wouldn't be surprised if we saw some freezing rain mixing in here during the morning hours. An ice storm warning, again, that's further to the south where we are seeing some of that freezing rain come down. It's not uncommon in events like this where that ice starts to accumulate on power lines, and we could see power outages as well with this, and that's just what the National Weather Service is trying to warn everybody about. We still are collecting these weather observations. We want to know what the road conditions are like outside, so feel free to drop us an email at weather@wfmz.com or go to our website at wfmz.com/weather and click Email the Weather Center, of course. Be careful when you are spending any time outside today, and certainly don't go outside just for us. But if you are out there today, we'd appreciate any email that you shoot back to us. All right, now for the latest conditions outside, let's send things back over to Matt Broderick.
All right, Rachel, thanks very much. As we take a look at your travel weather, obviously travel not recommended. If you need to get to work, it's going to be a rough go of it. Eventually toward 32 in Philly and 34 in New York. Harrisburg well below freezing, as well as the Poconos, the shore, dealing with just rain. But to get there, it is going to be a rough go. Travel simply not recommended, at least as of right now. The roads are in pretty rough shape. Road crews are out working on them. Ice storm warning, southern sections, Bucksmont, Hunterdon County, down closer to Philadelphia, Philly, Delaware County, and southern Jersey, a flash flood watch as well. The rest of us, winter storm warning, again, until noontime for the central part of the area, Poconos, until 7 o'clock tonight. Radar screen, you can clearly tell here during the overnight period into early this morning that the coastal low has taken over, deepening, strengthening, a lot of moisture now fetching in from the Atlantic, and we're seeing a pretty good amount of moisture as we speak, and we expect that through the morning and then into the afternoon as well. Most of us in this pink shaded area, which means most of us are seeing some sort of wintry mix, mainly not snow anymore, except further to the north end of the Poconos. A lot of us are seeing sleet, ice pellets, some of us a little bit of that freezing rain as well, but you can see there are some shades of darker pinks, and you have to go well to the north to see just snow as we speak. For instance, Mount Pocono just reporting snowfall as of right now. The rest of us just sleet. And I think the way to expect this day to go is that we'll see mainly sleet this morning until a little bit later when some colder air can be dragged down aloft. Then we can see a period of snow or flurries on the back end this afternoon. We could pick up another inch or two. Now, so far, about 2 to 5 inches is what we've seen as far as snow and ice that's been compacted down because of the ice on top of the snow, so it doesn't look like that much. And again, this afternoon, we could pick up, theoretically, another inch or two on the backside. So total storm totals, I think, maybe around 4 inches for most of us. If you've already seen 5 or so, then you could see a bit more than that. Low pressure moves away. Here's the big story. The wind will pick up, gusts easily toward 40 miles per hour as we continue later in the day and into tonight. Windy, a morning wintry mix, meaning mainly sleet for most of us, although there is some freezing rain and snow to the north. A period of afternoon flurries or snow could drop a coating to an inch or two in some places. 27. Of course, it'll feel colder than that. Wind chills below 10 degrees. Clearing, very windy. I'd say quite cold at 12, but your wind chills well below zero. A very cold night ahead. Thursday and Friday, boy, we are struggling. Near 20 degrees, very cold and windy. Your overnight lows in the single digits to near 10, so wind chill values continue dangerously low in some cases. A bit better Saturday, Sunday, near 30, but we could see some flurries or a period of snow, perhaps period of snow or flurries Saturday night into Sunday morning, and then up toward 30 after your day off, President's Day, 25 and windy. So we have to get through this first, and then we turn dramatically colder and very windy for the next couple of days. More in just a few more minutes. Now we'll send things